And then now it's Melody. Melody always have amazing presentation. So that's where I'm going.
It gave me a lot of stress. Okay, hi everyone, I'm Melody from Taipei Municipal Longshan Junior High School. And today I'm going to share my and my students' reading journey of respect with you. And there will be 3 parts of this journey. The first one is departure, in which I will talk about how balanced literacy meets authentic readings. And the next one is initiation. It's about my action plan. And the third one is return. That will be my internal transformation after the SFU program. So let's go. The first one is departure, when balanced literacy meets authentic readings. One of the most impressing activities I learned in SFU is balanced literacy. According to Kathy Cornell's instruction, there are 6 language arts. They are reading, writing, listening, speaking, feeling, and representing. And according to her instruction, she chose, balanced literacy implies the 6 aspects of language arts altogether in teaching. And according to Kathy's instruction, she chose a wordless picture book called Unspoken. And she used the split images to have us describe the image we saw and listen to our partners. And then she had us predict the story, what the story was going to be. And I was so amazed by this activity. So after I came back to Taiwan, I decided to use this balanced literacy technique in my teaching when I teach my students reading. So I asked my students to speak freely, listening carefully, and draw freely. And that was how I applied balanced literacy in my class with the app Nearpod, which has a function called Draw It. And I will mention that function later in my presentation. And I found some tips when applying balanced literacy technique. The first one is choosing the right pictures. Teachers can choose the right pictures for students to draw. The picture must include some important ideas and details about the story, so students can predict the story more easily later. And then the second one is giving some hints to the students. When students are drawing, teachers can give some hints to the students, for example, to tell them to pay attention to the colors of the pages or the characters' facial expressions. And the third one is showing everyone's masterpieces. Students like to draw, and they also like to see what others draw. So after the students finish their drawing, teachers can show everyone's works to the whole class, and they will be really excited about that. And the fourth one is predicting the story. That will be the main purpose of doing this activity, because students can guess what the story is going to be, guess the storyline according to what they have drawn and what they have heard from their partners. And the last thing is, teacher can keep encouraging the students during the whole process, because some students may be afraid of speaking English, but if the teacher can encourage the students, we will find that most of them will try their best to use the language they are learning. And the second one is about my action plan, to read or not to read. That is the question. My action plan was about, I would like to show my students the importance of respecting others. And I also want to give them more chances to get real reading experiences. So I chose several different picture books about respect, and I also designed different worksheets and activities when giving them the chances to get authentic reading materials instead of the reading materials in their textbook or just on the test paper. And here are the books I chose about respect. The books are also related to the units in their textbook. The book I used in my school right now is Handling, Book 5. And I choose 4 different topics. They are celebrating diversities, caring about nature, new immigration, and socially vulnerable groups. And I also choose 2 different levels in each topic, so students can choose the books they want to read according to their own language levels. And now I'm going to introduce the materials I used in my action plan. The first one is worksheets. I put several QR codes on my worksheets, so the students can scan the QR code to read the whole story online. And if there is some further information about the writers, the illustrators, or the story, I also put the QR codes on the worksheet so students can scan it if they still have enough time to read it. And I also designed a glossary part. I put some words students need to know in the story they are going to read. And for comprehension reading questions, I also designed several before, while, and after reading questions. And next one, I'm going to introduce the app, Nearpod. I used Nearpod this semester a lot in my classes because there are a lot of useful functions on this app. And it is really convenient and it is really quick to design these online activities and online exercises by using the app Nearpod. It saves me a lot of time to print out all the paper worksheets. And for the right one, it's a function called fill in the blanks. I use this to test my students' listening skill or test their understanding of the story they just read. And it's really quick to design this kind of questions on Nearpod. And on the left one is the function called collaborate. It's like a collaborate board, and it's a little like an online version of gallery walk. Students can post the pictures or the words about their ideas, and I use this when having my students predict the story. And on the right, it's a game called Time to Climb. It's a little bit like Kahoot. Students need to choose the correct answer to get to the top of the mountain. And the first one to get to the top of the mountain will be the winner. And this game is really exciting. It is really interesting, and the characters and interface in this game is really cute. And students really love it, but it's a premium service, so it costs me some money. Yeah. It was it. And next I'm going to introduce the activities I use in my action plan. I sometimes printed out all the pages to the students so they have to guess the storyline to get the correct order of all the pages. And this one, I called it Speak, Listen, and Draw, which I have mentioned a lot of times when talking about balanced literacy technique. I use the app Nearpod and also iPad to have my students to draw on the iPad. And there's a color palette, so students can use different colors to show their images, which make their images more colorful and more obvious. And on the right, they are students' works. Besides activities and worksheets, students' reading journals are also important. I designed some questions about respect. So students, and I encourage students to answer my questions in the language they feel comfortable with. So they can answer my questions both in Mandarin and in English. And for some students who are advanced learners, they may have some deeper thoughts, so I will give them feedbacks after I view their worksheets. And it's my timeline of my action plan. My action plan is delayed, but because there are a lot of unknowns which happen unexpectedly in our real teaching. For example, one time my class was delayed for almost half an hour because in students' previous class was their cooking class, and they were cooking pearl milk tea, and their pearl milk tea wasn't ready, so I just gave them half an hour, half of my class for them to finish the tea. Yeah, so my class sometimes were delayed, but fortunately, it's December right now. We have entered the production stage, a stage called Making an Alphabet Book by Themselves. I have my students use iPads and the app Adobe Sketch to make their drawings. And before they draw, I use the website called Slido to have my students make a respect word cloud so they can upload the words they think of about respect. And after that, I ask my students to make sentences according to the words. And I will assign them, each of them, one sentence. So they have to make some pictures, draw some pictures according to that sentence. So my students use iPad, Apple Pencils, and the app Adobe Sketch to make some pictures. And after they draw, I also asked them to use the app called GarageBand on iPad to record their voice, so we can make this book an audible one. And the last one is Return. It's about my internal transformation after the SFU program. A few years ago, I saw a Facebook post from one of my friends. She is a really hard-working teacher in a rural school, and she told us that she got a chance to go to the United States for almost 1 month to learn how to teach English. And at that time, I thought the chance was too good to be true for me. But a few years later, it was me who sat in the classroom in Canada with a bunch of amazing teachers. Yeah. So this journey was full of inspiration. It was full of challenges, but somehow I felt frustrated when I re-examined my teaching. But after the journey, I believe it was the key to becoming a better self. So here are the amazing facts and amazing people I met during this journey. 1, fantastic instructors and courses. At first I thought I was going to Canada to learn how to teach English, but actually what we learned were about how to help our kids grow and learn comprehensively, just like the whole child one. Yes. And so I'd like to thank to all the amazing instructors and all the SFU faculty members, because you are so considerate. That you really made our summer a fantastic one. And the second one is wonderful peers. All the Taiwanese teachers who join this program, you are so hardworking and you are so enthusiastic that you are all my good examples to be a great teacher just like you guys. And the third one is the colorful life. Every day in Canada was so busy, was so full that because we really studied hard and played hard. So I think 5 weeks just weren't enough for us. And why did Japanese teacher have 10 weeks? They were just too lucky. And the last one, I met the brave me. I'm not always self-confident, and I still viewed myself as a newbie when talking about teaching. But after this journey, I know there are a lot for me to learn. There are a lot for me to explore, and after this journey, I think my heart has become braver, and I think I have become stronger, and I think I'm ready for maybe the next challenge in my long teaching journey. Lastly, I'd like to share a quote. It's my favorite. It's from George Bernard Shaw, and it's, "We don't stop playing because we grow old. We grow old because we stop playing." So cheers to all the memories we made in Canada. Thank you.